will refer to certain
There we go. Should
non-GAAP
be live on
financial
Substack
measures.
now as
These
well.
non-GAAP measures are
Right
not
on.
prepared in
Let me know what you
accordance
guys
with
think about the
generally
audio. If it's
accepted
loud enough, I
accounting
might turn it up a little bit.
principles. A reconciliation of the non-GAAP financial measures to the most direct comparable GAAP measures is shown in our press release issued today, which is available at the Investor Relations section of our website. This non-GAAP information is provided as a supplement to, not as a substitute for, or as superior to measures of financial performance prepared in accordance with GAAP. However, management believes these non-GAAP measures provide investors with
We also
valuable
pulled
information
forward
on the underlying
the
trends of our
EBITDA profitability
business.
timelines too.
Please note
Good to
this
see.
event is being
Man.
recorded.
Just good
I would
news,
now
stacked
like to
on good
turn
news,
the
stacked on good
presentation
news,
over
man.
to Eric Brock,
Yeah,
Chairman and
that
CEO.
drop in the
Please go
stock
ahead.
price was due to. Oh, here we go.
Here's the start of the
Thank you,
show.
operator, and good morning, everyone. We
Good
appreciate you
morning.
joining us today and your continued interest in Ondas. I'm pleased to be joined this morning by key members of our leadership team. Neil Laird, our Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer,
I
Oshri
know that guy.
Lugassy, Co-CEO of Ondas Autonomous Systems, Mayor Kleiner, President of OAS, and Ryan Hartman, CEO of Ondas Sentinel. We have a lot to cover today, so we will
Yeah, we do.
dive right in. Let's turn to today's agenda. I'll begin with a high-level review of our second quarter performance, the continued execution of our Core Plus strategic growth plan, and the progress we are making toward building One Ondas. Neil will then review our second quarter financial results, balance sheet, and the investments supporting the significant growth we expect in the second half of 2026 and beyond. We will then provide a growth and operational update, including commercial momentum, major customer programs, expansion across our 4 strategic market segments, and the continued scaling of our global operating platform. We will also discuss the integration of our expanding technology portfolio and our progress toward delivering AI-enabled multi-domain systems of system solutions. I'll close with our updated financial outlook and management priorities for the next phase of Ondas's growth. We will then open the call for questions. Let me begin with the operating model behind our strategy. Ondas continues to execute its Core Plus strategic growth plan. And to be clear, Ondas is not simply a collection of acquired companies. We are building and operating one integrated global platform, One Ondas. That means assembling mission-ready technologies, world-class engineering talent, experienced leadership teams, customer relationships, and operational capabilities, and then integrating those assets into a unified growth platform. The value of this model becomes most visible when we combine technologies across domains. We are connecting persistent multi-domain ISR capabilities to the complete detect, identify, track, and defeat chain. In counter UAS, for example, we are bringing customers a unique layered architecture that can include passive detection, cyber takeover, electronic warfare, interception, and fully autonomous kinetic defeat. These integrated capabilities are designed to protect critical locations from hostile drones, ranging from small FPV drones to larger, more sophisticated threats. We are integrating these capabilities through software-defined command and control, enabling customers to operate a coordinated system of systems rather than a collection of disconnected products. But technology...
One sec, guys. I'm swapping it over.
Hey, no worries, man. We're about to break 100, just 5 minutes in.
built to customer requirements and operational in the field.
Nice work.
Developing that technology is extremely challenging, and we are proud to have operationalized the incredible portfolio we have at Ondas. With that said, technology by itself is not sufficient to win. Customer
leadership,
defense, homeland security, public safety, and critical infrastructure markets need partners that can deploy, support, and sustain mission-critical systems at scale. That is what One Ondas is all about. It is how we create value for customers, employees, partners, and shareholders. It is how we win. And Ondas is playing to win. The execution of our strategy is increasingly reflected in our financial performance, with these KPIs demonstrating the strength and momentum of our business. We delivered another quarter of revenue, generating approximately $83.8 million in the second quarter. That represents more than 13-fold growth versus a year ago. We expect to sustain this momentum and deliver another significant revenue ramp in the second half of 2026. Based on our results, backlog, and current visibility, We are also increasing our full year 2026 revenue target to a range of $525 to $550 million.
11 billion plus in the
The
next
growth
2
is
years for
broad-based
pipeline.
across the portfolio, supported by continued strength
Double
in
the
our core
market cap of the
businesses,
company.
the conversion of large orders already in backlog, and the transition of several emerging platforms from development and qualification into deployment. Our 2-year strategic program pipeline has expanded to more than $11 billion. And our pro forma backlog now stands at approximately $757 million, including design and Cyberhawk, growing more than 11x during 2026 and providing substantial revenue visibility. Meanwhile, order momentum remains strong. We have already captured approximately $105 million of new orders quarter to date, further adding to backlog during this Q3. At the same time, we continue investing in the operating platform required to support this growth. Cash operating expenses were elevated in the quarter, reflecting the full quarter impact of businesses added earlier in the year, principally Worldview and Mistral, as well as approximately $29 million of growth investment across corporate development, Ondas Capital, partner initiatives, and the broader operating platform. We made these investments ahead of the significant revenue and gross profit ramp we expect in the second half and beyond. We expect the growth in these OpEx investments to moderate from here, providing substantial operating leverage as revenue scales. We also remain very well capitalized. We ended June with approximately $1.4 billion in cash equivalents, restricted cash, and short-term investments. Even after deploying $325 million for new acquisitions in Q3, we retain significant financial flexibility to support organic growth, scale our operating platform, and execute our strategic growth program. This chart is a simple visual of the transformation underway in our financial performance. Quarterly revenue has grown from approximately $4.2 million in the first quarter of 2025 to $83.8 million in the second quarter of 2026.
How about that, Benny?
We believe this is what the early part of an S-curve should
Eric's
look like.
singing.
Technology adoption curves are generally not
I didn't know he
linear.
was a
They
musician.
are exponential. Once platforms are validated, customer requirements are established, and programs move from testing into scaled deployment, growth can accelerate rapidly. Our strategy is designed around that dynamic. As we execute our Core Plus strategic growth plan, we are not only expanding the technology portfolio, but also building the operating platform required to support an exponential growth curve across production, supply chain, customer deployment, field support, and sustainment. Importantly, the underlying core growth of our businesses remains a major driver of the financial model and the economic value we are creating. On a pro forma basis, assuming our current portfolio companies had been owned throughout both periods, Ondas generated approximately 85% organic revenue growth in the second quarter compared with Q2 2025.
What are they talking
That
about
is an
buying
important
revenue?
distinction. The growth reflected here is not simply the result of adding acquired revenue. Our underlying
Right.
businesses are also expanding rapidly within the Ondas platform. Core organic growth is a theme we will return to throughout today's discussion. We have strong momentum and are
organic
positioned for
growth.
growth to accelerate further
It's massive.
during the second half of 2026 and into 2027.
I'm surprised it's that high, honestly.
This slide provides additional detail showing our growth model is working. The model begins with strong, mission-ready
Centrix
technology
makes
platforms
sense.
in markets with very significant customer demand. That technology and demand are supported by the operating platform Ondas is building, providing working capital, global customer relationships, expanded sales capabilities, production resources, supply chain support, and field services. As mentioned, on a pro forma basis,
I'm
Ondas
excited.
delivered approximately 85% organic year-over-year revenue growth during the second quarter. Backlog also continued to grow,
Boom.
increasing approximately 33% sequentially from Q1 to
World
Q2
Cup,
on an
Jaguars,
organic
with
basis.
NFL, Centrix.
We continue to
Mhm.
see a particularly strong organic ramp across the Ondas Autonomous Systems businesses. Centrix continues to see substantial demand for its cyber over RF counter UAS systems, with second quarter pro forma revenue up approximately 298% year over year. The Centrix team is performing extremely well, benefiting from the expanding global sales platform, customer access, and operating resources available through Ondas. Our success at the FIFA World Cup and recent win with the Jacksonville Jaguars are early signs that Ondas is winning as the long-term investment cycle kicks into high gear. Robotics also delivered very strong growth, with revenue up approximately 112% year over year. That growth was supported by Iron Drone, continued customer demand for autonomous drone infrastructure, and new integrated
You know,
systems
it's good
of
when the
systems
small one
customer
is
engagements.
112%.
Similarly, 4M delivered approximately 258% year-over-year pro forma revenue growth,
It's demining.
with the capital, customer access, operating support, and international reach of Ondas behind it. 4M is expanding its intelligent demining and land intelligence business into substantially larger programs. Rotron is proving to be another excellent addition to our portfolio. Rotron captured approximately $34.2 million in orders during the second quarter alone, compared with approximately $25 million of expected 2026 revenue we underwrote in the acquisition. Rotron's international pipeline outside the UK is also expanding under Ondas, and we believe its capabilities in jet propulsion, precision strike, UAV development, and platform commercialization will be meaningful value creators over the coming years. This performance is not isolated to one company or market segment. We are seeing strong organic growth across multiple businesses, and the data increasingly validates both our operating platform thesis and our execution. I want to pause on this slide because it illustrates the One Ondas operating model. At the top is Ondas Inc., responsible for capital allocation, corporate strategy, the Ondas brand, investor engagement, governance, and overall enterprise direction. Beneath that is our
150.
shared operational platform. This layer provides capabilities across supply chain and production, field support and services, global sales and marketing, government affairs, finance, and corporate infrastructure.
We like OAS.
These shared
It's my
resources
favorite.
accelerate commercialization, improve execution, and allow the specialized technology companies within Ondas to scale more efficiently. Those specialized companies bring deep domain expertise, differentiated intellectual property, exceptional engineering talent, established customer relationships, and mission-ready products. We are integrating those capabilities across four major high-growth market segments: aerial security, ISR and persistent intelligence, precision strike, and autonomous ground systems, with AI software serving as a common enabling layer across the portfolio. Exceptional technology is merely the starting point in these markets. Customers need complete solutions built to requirements, integrated,
That might be the
reliably
complete
delivered,
book, man.
and
It's going to
supported
be
across
just
the
so
mission
big.
lifecycle.
Oh,
Complete
Partners need a
solutions.
platform to bring technologies to market and pursue larger global programs. Employees need the resources,
feels good to be
infrastructure,
early.
and capital to scale innovation. And investors need this model too. Our shared operating layer deploys capital more efficiently, accelerates revenue, reduces duplication, and generates increasing P&L leverage as the platform scales, leverage that is fundamental to sustained profitability and attractive long-term returns. Oshri and Ryan will discuss this model in greater depth later, including how we are integrating technologies, pursuing larger programs, and scaling execution across the portfolio. As we deploy capital and scale Ondas, one of our most important responsibilities is ensuring we have the strongest, most capable leadership team possible. We have made tremendous progress. Across Ondas, we are assembling a mission-driven leadership team deeply committed to delivering robust, operational, autonomous capabilities to customers in defense, homeland security, public safety, and critical infrastructure markets across the United States, Israel, and allied nations. I am pleased to welcome David Barnea as President and Chairman of Ondas Defense Limited. David joins Ondas following a distinguished career serving the State of Israel, most recently as Director of the Mossad. He brings nearly 3 decades of intelligence, national security, and operational leadership experience, and
pause it for a
intimate
second there,
knowledge of
JT.
modern warfare and the current battlefield. David's mandate is to help lead our
I'm not
global
sure if
expansion,
we can. Let me
strengthen
see. Let me make sure that actually it pauses.
the integration and adoption of our AI-enabled.
Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay, yep. We
Okay.
pause.
Oh, okay. So, hey, I just wanted to point out that, this guy, I never heard of him before he went to work at Ondas, but, 30 years at the Mossad, he could write his own check. You know what I mean?
I don't think they want you to know, about in Mossad.
Right,
Mossad
right.
does that. That's the more, that's
I
the
hear you on that.
CIA here. They don't want you to know. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
but the point I was making, and not only did he choose to go to work for Ondas, that means he didn't go to work for Israeli defense primes. So he sees the future. And if someone's going to be,
Like
if someone
Raphael.
is informed yeah, exactly. Raphael, yeah, he could have, obviously, he could have wrote his check anywhere, his own ticket, but he chose Ondas even over Israeli defense primes, as a professional pursuit. And I think that says a lot right there, man. Because I don't know who is more well informed than the former director of Mossad, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's extremely impressive. And just a quick question, Benny. Where are you right now? I see you're outside
Hey, man,
the DoubleTree.
I'm at the DoubleTree, yeah, right here in Midtown Manhattan, 29th Street. Loving it. Well, aside from my bedroom at home, this is my favorite place in the world, New York City.
You were at Wall Street
Yeah.
This morning or last night?
I went to Wall Street yesterday, just a obligatory trip down there. Boy, it's crowded and it was kind of hot. But, yeah, you got to go down and check out the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, the American capital markets. This is where it's happening. And
tell them about Ondas. Tell them about all the companies we cover. Absolutely.
Hey, yeah, well, hey, look, they wouldn't listen anyway. And, if you want to know the truth, I don't listen much to the David Solomons or the Jamie Dimons of the world, so they can play in their lane, and we got ours. You talk about being early, Jamie Dimon will say, follow the money. And if you follow the money, you're already in the back, right? Here at Zero Hour Group and with Hidden Gems Research, we're finding the high alpha stocks before the big money follows. They're following us, JT.
Absolutely. Let's see what else Eric has to say and David Barnea.
Right on.
Growth across the platform. Our priorities remain clear. Continue driving organic growth, convert backlog efficiently, leverage the investments we have made in our scalable operating platform, and demonstrate the strength of the Ondas financial model. That concludes my introductory comments. I will now hand the call over to Neil, who will review our second quarter financial performance. Neil.
Thank you, Eric. The second quarter showed record revenue and represented another important step forward in demonstrating the scalability of our financial model. Revenue increased to approximately $83.8 million, up 67% sequentially and more than 13 times the prior year period. Importantly, this wasn't simply acquisition driven. On a pro forma organic basis, assuming our current portfolio had been owned in both periods, revenue grew approximately 85% year over year, reflecting strong execution across our underlying businesses and proving out the power of our growth platform. With $175 million of new orders during the quarter and continued strength into Q3, we believe that customer demand remains exceptionally strong across our platform. Gross profit increased to approximately $36 million, while adjusted gross margin, a new metric which excludes the non-cash items of stock compensation, expense, and amortization of acquisition-related intangible assets, was 50.4%, relatively stable from 51.5% in the prior quarter, despite normal product mix variability. As we've discussed previously, quarterly margins will fluctuate as deliveries shift between programs. We expect some gross margin pressure in the second half due to mix and recently acquired excess capacity. However, our longer-term target remains to achieve gross margins in excess of 50%. Operating expenses increased to approximately $199 million, but more than half of the total consisted of non-cash or acquisition-related items such as stock compensation, contingent consideration, revaluation, amortization of intangible assets, as well as $4.4 million in acquisition-related transaction costs. To better understand the business, we encourage investors to look at our underlying adjusted cash operating expenses, which amounted to approximately $93 million during the quarter. This includes normal operating expenses as well as investments to support the integration of recently acquired businesses, continued deployment of Palantir Foundry and Warp Speed, commercialization activities, and infrastructure required to support the significant revenue growth we expect over the coming quarters. Second quarter represented a large increase as we invested ahead of and in support of a transformational growth curve. The important distinction is that the growth of our operating expense will normalize in the third quarter and beyond, while revenue and gross profit are expected to rise significantly, resulting in significant leverage in our model. Given these investments, which are occurring ahead of a broader revenue ramp, adjusted EBITDA was a loss of approximately $51 million during the quarter. This result was consistent with our expectation that the second quarter would represent the peak in adjusted EBITDA losses. As revenue accelerates during the second half, we expect those investments to begin producing meaningful operating leverage. Turning to the balance sheet, which remains strong and provides us with significant advantages. We ended the quarter with approximately $1.4 billion in cash, cash equivalents, restricted cash, and short-term investments compared to $616 million at the end of 2025. Included in our total assets are investments in unaffiliated public and private companies totaling $70 million. These investments are aligned with our broader platform strategy. They support key partners, enhance access to critical technologies, improve supply chain efficiency, and we believe will generate attractive returns over time. During the third quarter, we've already deployed approximately $325 million of cash to complete the Design and Cyberhawk acquisitions, both important elements for our near-term and long-term growth outlook. Our balance sheet allows us to invest aggressively in our operating platform, support larger customer opportunities, and continue executing our disciplined acquisition strategy from a position of strength. If there's one message we'd like investors to take away from today's call, it's that our confidence in the trajectory of the business has never been stronger. We believe the first half of 2026 has validated the strategic investments we've made over the past year. We enter the second half with record backlog, accelerating production, strong demand signals across a rapidly expanding product set, an exceptionally strong balance sheet, and increasing confidence in our outlook. We believe the foundation is now in place for substantial growth and meaningful operating leverage over the coming quarters. With that, I'll turn it back to Eric.
As Neil noted, adjusted cash operating expense increased significantly in the second quarter to approximately $93 million. There were two principal drivers of that increase. First, our strategic M&A program added new businesses to the Ondas platform. These come with operating costs, but also bring meaningful revenue and gross profit, established customer relationships, contracted backlog, and expanding pipelines. We believe these additions materially strengthen Ondas's earnings power and long-term growth potential and should be viewed as investments in scale, not incremental overhead. Second, we continue to invest in the growth platform at both Ondas Inc. and across our operating platform. At the Ondas Inc. level, in addition to our underlying finance, accounting, and governance expenses, we invested approximately $29 million in growth OpEx related to corporate development, Ondas Capital, ecosystem and partner initiatives, and our operating platform, including our work with Palantir. At the operating platform level, growth OpEx, in terms of OAS leadership and operating infrastructure, totaled approximately $6 million. These are deliberate, front-loaded investments to ensure Ondas can integrate acquisitions efficiently, expand its global sales and marketing reach, scale supply chain and production, and provide the field support, sustainment, and services a much larger business requires. We are not building the operating platform for the Ondas of today, but for the significantly larger company we expect Ondas to become. We believe we are well on our way driving substantial growth, generating increasing operating leverage, and building a large and profitable global company over the next 12 plus months. Much of our growth OpEx is discretionary, and we expect the rate of growth in these expenses to moderate from here as revenue and gross profit continue to scale.
Love it.
Let's now turn to our growth and operational update.
What
Oshri
care
and Ryan
about
will
right
cover
here.
our
Hey,
customer engagement.
Hey, pause it just real quick. No, that's right. Are we not able to?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't want to pause
Along
it.
with the
Keep it going, man. Keep it going.
of our
We can
business
touch
units
after.
under the one Ondas
Yep.
operating model. They'll also address the global scale we're building across sales, partnerships,
They got to fix that
supply
though,
chain,
because that's annoying that
and
you can't
field
pause
support,
it.
and the integrated
We got Zero working on that.
systems
Oh, nice.
platforms we're bringing
Yep.
to market, where software-enabled
He'll buffer it
integration is
internally.
delivering broader, more valuable customer solutions. Before I hand over to Oshri, I want to highlight an important addition to our advisory board, and that is General Charlie Flynn, who joined the Ondas advisory board earlier this month. General
Is that
Flynn
Mike
recently
Flynn's
retired
brother?
from the U.S. Army after 39 years of distinguished service. A 4-star general, he most recently served as Commanding General of U.S. Army Pacific, and previously as the Army's Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations, Plans, and Training.
So Palantir.
General Flynn is well suited to help Ondas navigate the U.S. Department of War and allied ministries of defense, refine our multi-domain ISR and autonomous systems roadmap, and position our platforms for broader operational adoption. He brings exceptional experience, judgment, and relationships to Ondas, shares our
That's the
mission,
key.
and understands the urgency of delivering advanced autonomous capabilities to the United States and its allies. I am grateful that Charlie has chosen to support Ondas, and we look forward to his contributions as we continue building and scaling the company. With that, I'll hand over to Oshri to discuss our growth and operational progress.
Folks, tell your moms
Thank
and
you,
dads to
Eric.
tune in. We're almost at
Ondas has
200
built
just
a
here on
deep,
X.
differentiated solutions portfolio across 4 strategic market segments: aerial security, ISR and persistent intelligence, precision strike, and autonomous ground systems. In aerial security, we provide technologies to detect, identify, track, and defeat threats across the full counter-drone kill chain. Our ISR and persistent intelligence portfolio provides multi-layer surveillance from the stratosphere through long-endurance airborne platforms and down to the tactical edge. In precision strike, we are delivering affordable, autonomous, launched effects aligned with the growing demand for scalable, mission-ready mass. And in unmanned ground systems, our portfolio includes robotic ground platforms supporting demining, engineering, logistics, border security, and operations in contested environments. Supporting all 4 segments is an expanding portfolio of AI-enabled software and command and control capabilities, the unified command core connecting sensing, decision-making, autonomous operations, and mission execution across domains. This is central to our strategy. We are increasingly able to offer customers integrated systems
Boom!
of systems solutions rather than standalone products. Our core technology platforms are mission-ready and operational, and we are building increasingly mature customer relationships as we demonstrate both our technology roadmap and our ability to manufacture, deploy, sustain, and support these systems in the field with excellence and at scale. That operational credibility is reflected in the representative customer base on this slide. Across the United States, Ondas supports customers including the U.S. Air Force, Army, Navy, Special Operations Command, Department of Homeland Security, and
Quite the book they
NASA.
have there.
Internationally, our customers include the Israel Defense Forces and MAFAT, the Australian Defense Forces, the Japan Self-Defense Forces, the Royal
Asda.
Thai Army, and the Dubai Police, among others. We also serve major critical infrastructure and industrial customers, including PG&E, Southern California, Edison, Shell, Chevron, National Grid, and Reliance. We have worked hard to earn these organizations' trust, and we are extremely proud of these relationships. That trust is built through technology performance, operational reliability, successful delivery, and support in demanding real-world environments. Our strategy is focused on increasing Ondas' relevance and mindshare within these customers, expanding from individual technologies and initial deployments into broader, integrated, long-duration programs. We believe that will support an exceptional market position for Ondas as a trusted global solutions provider and lay the foundation for the large, durable business we intend to build. Our
Large, durable.
expanding technology portfolio, broader customer access, and increasing operational maturity are translating into a rapidly growing pipeline. Our 2-year strategic program pipeline now
That's unreal.
exceeds $11 billion, up
Before it was
more
like
10
than
times their
4
market
billion.
cap,
4.5x since our last
9
update in
times their
May.
market cap.
This
Yeah, it was
pipeline
4 billion
includes
before.
many
Now it's
They're the
dozens
11.
envy
of
of the
program
industry, JT.
submissions globally and is robust across the major geographic markets in which we operate. Recent acquisitions, particularly design, contributed important new platforms, customer relationships, and program opportunities to this pipeline. Equally important, the pipeline is also expanding organically on a same portfolio basis. That organic growth reflects the scaling of Ondas's direct sales and marketing organization, deeper engagement with existing customers, and the growing number of distribution and strategic partners extending our reach. Ryan will discuss that commercial infrastructure shortly. The size, breadth, and geographic diversity demonstrate the expanding relevance of our portfolio and the scale of opportunity now available to Ondas. More important than pipeline size is our ability to convert opportunities into programs, which we are increasingly demonstrating. The programs highlighted on this slide span border security and smart demining, military engineering vehicles, lethal unmanned systems, autonomous UAV swarms, long-range precision strike, stratospheric maritime surveillance, and contested logistics. These are meaningful programs, some of which have potential values of upwards of $1 billion in size. Looking forward, we see a strong near-term
The big
capture
one's the
pipeline
Mistral one.
and expect additional strategically important awards during the second half of 2026. Those opportunities include ISRT programs led by our ultra-long endurance aircraft, kinetic counter-UAS programs involving Ion Strike, persistent stratospheric ISR programs, and additional opportunities across our unmanned ground vehicle portfolio. Another
Yeah.
important example was the Digital Bat program we announced this week, whereby Ondas is providing the Israeli MOD with a next-generation one-way attack system. As we deliver against our existing backlog and pursue these new programs, we are deepening critical relationships across the U.S. combatant commands, NATO, and allied militaries, and the Israel Defense Forces. These relationships are increasingly focused on broader mission requirements and integrated solutions, not simply an individual platform purchase. That shift positions Ondas to participate in larger, longer duration programs and deliver more value across the customer mission. To reinforce our ability to convert pipeline into orders, this slide highlights selected commercial activity since April 1st. As demonstrated, we are seeing a strong order cadence with an increasing number of large deals which have continued into Q3. This order activity is diversified across all 4 target market segments: aerial security, ISR and persistent intelligence, precision strike, and autonomous ground systems. It also reflects a growing, increasingly diverse set of customers, geographies, and mission requirements. This demonstrates
ISR
the
10 years
leverage
impressive.
we are beginning to realize from our
Full
expanded
stack,
sales
bro.
organization, customer access, partner network, and commercial infrastructure. We are pleased with our progress and remain focused on achieving
Me too.
even greater results. Our focus is sustaining and accelerating this order capture through the remainder of 2026 and beyond. Lastly, Before I hand over to Ryan, I want to provide more detail on our backlog. Our pro forma backlog at June 30th was $757 million. That represents an increase of approximately 66% sequentially from the $457 million of pro forma backlog at the end of the first quarter. The increase reflects both the newly acquired businesses and strong organic order capture across the existing Ondas portfolio. As
There,
Eric mentioned earlier, with over $100 million in orders Q3 to date, our backlog is continuing to grow as well.
This
Our
is something I'm going to
backlog
talk
is
about after the
diversified
call
across
because
our
it's
four
Europe is
market
small, but
segments and
the
geographically
potential is
providing
massive.
meaningful revenue
mm-hmm.
visibility and shows demand is not dependent on a single product, customer, program, or region. Our immediate priority is execution, delivering against this backlog, supporting customers, and converting a meaningful portion of these orders into revenue during the second half of 2026. At the same time, we remain focused on replenishing and expanding the backlog organically through continued pipeline conversion. With that, I will hand over to Ryan.
Thank you, Oshri.
We're going
Ondas
from the
has made
ground to the
tremendous
stratosphere
progress
now,
building the global operating platform required to support our
literally,
rapidly expanding business.
with
As we scale,
Ryan
it
and
is
Worldview.
critical that we do so
Yeah.
under a one Ondas strategy. We are not a collection of independent companies. We are integrating our
One
talent,
Ondas.
technologies, customer relationships, infrastructure, and operating capabilities to leverage the considerable resources we have assembled across the organization. The benefits extend across every major aspect of our business: sales and marketing, supply chain and production, field support, sustainment and services, engineering and product development, technology integration, and finance and accounting. Today, Ondas operates in more than 60 countries through 25 physical locations with approximately 1,700 employees around the world. This
60
footprint provides the
countries.
local market knowledge and customer proximity to compete globally while letting our businesses draw on shared expertise and capabilities across the broader Ondas platform. This scale strengthens our ability to pursue and deliver larger programs,
insane.
expand production, deploy systems more rapidly, and provide customers the reliable field support and service they require. Our footprint continues to grow, but scale itself is not the objective. The goal is to make every Ondas business more capable, more efficient, and more valuable as part of an integrated global platform. We believe this one Ondas operating model will support faster growth, stronger customer outcomes, and increasing operating leverage as the business scales. Having significantly expanded our global footprint through both organic growth and strategic acquisitions, our focus is now on scaling the operating platform. We're building the infrastructure required to support a much larger enterprise. Across manufacturing, commercial operations, partner networks, and global facilities, we've substantially increased capacity and reach over the past year. We're deliberately building an organization that can support growth at scale. We are creating the operational foundation needed to serve more customers, execute more programs, and deliver across a broader set of mission requirements than ever before. That's where our Palantir partnership becomes especially important. Foundry is helping us establish a common operating framework that connects data, workflows, and decision-making across the enterprise. It gives leadership real-time visibility into operations and lets teams coordinate across manufacturing, supply chain, flight operations, and finance. As we integrate acquired businesses and expand our capabilities, this infrastructure becomes a powerful force multiplier, helping us scale efficiently while improving execution across the enterprise. As we've been building the foundation, we're also accelerating integration and quickly realizing value. One of the biggest challenges in any acquisition strategy is integration. Historically, bringing together systems, processes, operational data, supply chains, and business functions can take years. Our integration strategy, coupled with our Palantir partnership, fundamentally changes that dynamic. Foundry dramatically accelerates integration, allowing us to bring newly acquired organizations into the Ondas ecosystem in a fraction of the traditional timeline. The impact extends beyond software deployment. Faster integration means faster visibility into operations, faster standardization of processes,
faster collaboration between teams, and ultimately faster realization of the value from our acquisitions. We believe this capability represents a meaningful competitive advantage, allowing us to rapidly transform acquired technologies, talent, and operations into a unified enterprise platform capable of operating at significantly greater scale. Ultimately, Foundry is becoming the operating system that enables Ondas to move with speed while maintaining the agility to innovate and grow. We have made significant progress translating capabilities and next-generation solutions as we operationalize our system of systems strategy. First, our IronWave product line is not only operational, but being fielded by a customer with very strong performance. IronWave provides forward-deployed aerial and ground-based ISR capabilities through an integrated platform architecture designed to support mission execution at the tactical edge. This is another important step in expanding our ability to deliver multi-domain solutions to customers. Second, we're beginning to see the real benefits of combining the technologies acquired across the Ondas portfolio. A strong example is the effort combining design sawtooth counter-UAS technology with Centric's cyber-over-RF capabilities. This unified solution will soon enable a more complete detect, identify, and defeat capability, bringing multiple layers of sensing, electronic effects, and command and control into one platform. We believe this integration can create a highly differentiated counter-UAS capability that addresses a rapidly growing market requirement and demonstrates the value of our systems of systems approach. Finally, I'd like to update
The
you on
Centrics combined
Skyweaver,
with,
our edge AI platform being developed
design.
with Palantir. Last week, we successfully conducted both ground and aerial testing of the Skyweaver platform, validating key aspects of the architecture and providing a clear path toward final development and broader operational integration. Skyweaver is designed to serve as a unifying intelligence layer across the Ondas portfolio, enabling operators to ingest, process, and act on information from multiple domains in real time. As it matures, we believe it will become a foundational capability supporting true system of systems operations across air, ground, and future mission environments. Taken together, these developments reflect our broader strategy, integrating advanced technologies, accelerating innovation through software, and delivering multi-domain operational capabilities that help customers make better decisions when every second counts. With that, I'll turn the call back over to Eric.
Thank you, Ryan. The work Ryan just described, embedding AI-enabled command and control across our platforms, is central to how we differentiate our systems of systems offerings as we scale. Let's now turn to our outlook for the second half of 2026.
So I want to
and
hear.
the priorities guiding the next chapter of Ondas's growth. As highlighted throughout today's presentation, Ondas has transformed its business and built meaningful scale. At the same time, we're scaling the operating platform to commercialize and deliver these technologies, globally improving capital efficiency, strengthening unit economics, accelerating delivery, and supporting the much larger programs we're now pursuing. The opportunity ahead requires us to keep scaling, and management is focused on 4 priorities. First, commercial scale, converting our backlog and pipeline, expanding our global reach, and turning initial deployments into recurring long-duration programs. Second, operational scale, strengthening shared capabilities across the platform, expanding global manufacturing capacity, and driving consistent execution as volumes increase. Third, AI and innovation, embedding agentic AI, autonomy, and advanced software more deeply across the portfolio to deliver integrated, software-defined, multi-domain solutions rather than standalone products. Fourth, corporate development, disciplined portfolio expansion through strategic acquisitions, technology partnerships, including our work with Palantir, and further expansion into key global markets. These priorities reinforce one another, converting the demand we're seeing into sustained revenue growth, stronger operating leverage, and long-term value for our customers and shareholders. Against that backdrop, we are increasing our full year 2026 revenue target to between $525 million and $550 million. At the midpoint, this would represent more than 10 times Ondas's 2025 revenue and greater than 30% organic growth on a year-over-year pro forma basis. For the third quarter, we expect revenue of between $140 million and $155 million. At the midpoint, that represents approximately 73% sequential growth and greater than 30% organic growth year-over-year on a pro forma basis. Clearly, our outlook implies another significant sequential ramp in both the third and fourth quarters. We believe we have meaningful visibility into that ramp through our backlog and rapidly expanding pipeline. Importantly, we expect growth to remain broad-based across market segments, as depicted in this pie chart. Several major programs already in backlog are also expected to contribute meaningfully during the second half. We are beginning volume shipments against more than $240 million of orders captured under the U.S. Army's $982 million Lethal Unmanned Strike IDIQ. We also expect growing contributions from Ultra and Iron Strike as those platforms begin their adoption curves and volume deliveries during the third and fourth quarters. Similarly, Indo-Earth is expected to begin delivering against the $140 million Combat Engineering Vehicles program announced earlier this year. As Neil discussed, our first half cost structure reflected substantial front-loaded investment in the operating platform required to support this growth. As revenue and gross profit scale, we expect adjusted EBITDA losses to narrow in the second half, beginning in the third quarter, while we continue investing in the opportunities ahead. We see upside to our previously announced adjusted EBITDA profitability objectives and are pulling forward the timeline by 1 quarter. We now expect our operating platform, consisting of Ondas Autonomous Systems and Ondas Sentinel, to reach profitability in the fourth quarter of 2026, and for Ondas Inc. to reach company-wide adjusted EBITDA profitability in the fourth quarter of 2027. Finally, if we execute against the planned fourth quarter ramp, we expect to exit 2026 at $1 billion in annualized run rate revenue.
Whoa.
Indeed, we are tracking well ahead of our 2030 target of $1.5 billion in revenue by perhaps a couple of years. We have
Faster than
significant work
Oppenheimer
ahead,
too.
but the strength of our backlog, the breadth of our pipeline, and the increasing scale of the operating platform give us confidence we can sustain momentum through the balance of 2026 and into 2027. Let me wrap up our prepared remarks before we open the call for questions. We believe Ondas is positioned to win in large and expanding defense and security markets. We have built a differentiated portfolio across 4 strategic market segments, supported by growing backlog and commercial momentum, a global customer base, strategic partnerships, and an increasingly integrated technology and operating platform. Most importantly, we believe we have a clear path to profitable, scalable growth, and we plan to demonstrate that operating leverage as we move through 2026 into 2027. Our focus now is execution, converting backlog, delivering on major programs, integrating our capabilities across the platform, and realizing the operating leverage inherent in the model. We believe these assets, technologies, and execution capabilities position Ondas to build the global leader in autonomous defense and security technologies and create substantial long-term value. Thank you again for joining us today. Operator, we will now open the call for questions.
Now begin the question and
Here we go,
answer
guys.
session. To ask a question, you may press star.
We'll do our
then
questions
one
and
on your
answers
touchtone
after.
phone. To withdraw your question, please press star and then 2. Our first question comes from Austin Beleg with Needham. Please go ahead.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my question and congrats on the great results and solid execution. I guess I just wanted to dig into the big uptick in kind of the pipeline opportunity here, going from about 4 to 11 billion.
This microphone
Was
sounds
curious
rough.
on if you could maybe elaborate on like what is included in the design acquisition, but then also what was new incremental organically. It looks like APAC saw a really big uptick in this pipeline.
Yeah, Austin, thank you. So the uptick in our strategic pipeline is really broad-based across the 4 market segments we're active in. And as you can see, it is also broad-based regionally. Design has certainly brought quite a bit on the ISR and counter-drone systems in particular. In Europe, we're seeing strength across segments as well. I highlight what we're seeing with on precision strike with Rotron. And we think these are also very relevant. And we're seeing demand in Asia Pac as well. I do want to highlight, I'll come back to General Flynn has joined us. He is, part of his mandate is to help us penetrate and serve the Asia Pacific region. So we think that's going to be supportive in us pulling through this pipeline.
Awesome. Well, and then maybe just one quick follow-up. So appreciate the color on kind of the pro forma organic revenue in the quarter, 85%. And I believe for the full year, you said it will imply around 30% organic growth. I'm just kind of curious if you can maybe, is that an apples to apples comparison between the two? Or does that 30% number imply something else?
Well, clearly, as we're moving through the year into 2027, the base we're comparing to is lower. So what I'm seeing from here is a 30 to 40% growth level across the portfolio. Of course, some of the systems and markets we're in will grow faster than others, but I think it's fair to say that we're seeing underlying demand and adoption curves across the board. And that's the context I can share. So if you're thinking about 2027, those are the metrics I'd be focused on.
Okay, yeah, and I guess as my quick follow-up was, so as we think about 2027, like, is this kind of 30% revenue CAGR something that's sustainable, or how should we be thinking about growth as we enter next year?
I think it is sustainable, and I'd also add that we have some very significant platforms.
Sustainable. That's quite the growth. Exciting.
One thing you've seen at Ondas over the course of 2026 is that the frequency and size of the orders we're capturing has been growing, and I think that's going to be the case as we're moving over the next 3, 6 to 12 months. So the growth rates we're talking about, I think we're trying to achieve higher growth rates, but 30 to 40% would be very attractive and strong performance all the same.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for taking my questions. Keep up the great work.
I think Needham might raise their price target a
And
little
the
bit.
next question comes from John Siegman with Stifel. Please go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my question, and congratulations on the backlog and revenue. Just maybe one question on the corporate investments. I know, Eric, you mentioned these are one-time in nature, and you're confident you're pulling forward the EBITDA targets next year. But it was unclear to us if these costs will scale down on a dollar basis or a percentage basis. Just maybe you can expand a little bit more on what you're actually investing, given it diverges from your confidence next year. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, John. So I think the level of spending on the corp dev and Ondas Capital and partner programs is probably a steady state, at least for the next 6 to 12 months. We may see that moderate, or we're certainly going to see it moderate, and we potentially could see it decline into 2027. At the same time, we do believe we're growing a substantial business. And those investments are really designed to ensure that we're capturing market position in a market we think has a very strong growth curve over the next 5 to 10 years. So I think you're going to see the operating leverage from Ondas on strong revenue growth and gross profit generation.
Thank you.
Thanks,
And the next question comes from Scott Seal with Roth Capital. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Excuse me. Thanks for taking the questions, and congrats on the momentum that you continue to build with the M&A opportunities. Hey, Eric, this was sort of answered in the opening remarks, but I want to dive in a little bit more in terms of the continuing to build the systems of systems and multi-domain approach now that's being unified with the Skyweaver platform. How is it really changing the level of engagement with government agencies and potential customers out there? What's built into the pipeline when you look at that huge $11 billion ramping up from $4 billion, I think, prior quarter? And when do we start to see some of the conversion of these, I'll call them larger, multi-diverse, multi-domain sort of opportunities? When does that start to transition into the P&L? And then just a real quick one, follow up on the financials and OpEx. Given the timelines for the closure of Design and CyberHawk, how should we be thinking about normalized OpEx as we're exiting the fourth quarter of this year? Thanks.
Sure. So let me take the last one first. So clearly adding Design in the Q3 P&L will present a step up in operating expenses. At the same time, that's coming with higher revenues and gross profit, and that's when we talk about our outlook for both the top line and the operating leverage. That's reflected, or the expectations around design and the contribution to the P&L over the next 6+ months is it's reflected in that outlook. So we do expect operating leverage and design to provide operating leverage on top of that. In terms of customer engagement and pulling through a pipeline, we certainly see a lot of receptivity to the systems of systems. But of course, it's not just that. It's Ondas and companies like Ondas becoming platform companies where we can deliver the technologies and the roadmaps and start to add more and more autonomy to the unmanned operations. So when we're seeing customers, they really like our technology roadmap and capabilities. They're also very excited about the financial strength, the ability to energize supply chains, and the ability to deliver in the field and support and sustain systems in the field. So what I'm seeing is that we're bringing the talent together, we're bringing the technologies together, and that the customers are very receptive to that because they're seeing a company like Ondas step up and be able to be a long-term partner in critical technologies that are really essential to securing our country. Ryan, could you would you add anything to the systems, Skyweaver in particular, and how that's impacting conversations in terms of us growing?
Yeah, thanks, Eric, and thanks, Scott, for the question. I'd add two things. As it relates to the pipeline, how do you view Skyweaver in that pipeline? There's two things that I would add. First is, through the addition of Skyweaver into our platforms, we're increasing the probability of win for programs that need to be connected into the customer C2 systems, and through the ability to do mission autonomy. And then the second thing I would add is that it enables an increase in cross-selling. So when you have a stratospheric balloon with Skyweaver that can be connected to an Ultra in the Group 5 UAS space, and they can be collaborating on a mission, it just increases the ability to sell Stratolites where there are Ultra customers or vice versa. And in our customer engagements, those are exactly the kinds of things that they're looking for, is the ability to autonomously connect our platforms and provide a greater level of mission autonomy.
Great, thanks so much.
Thanks, Scott.
JT, we're approaching 300.
Operator.
Timothy, your line may be muted.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear the question. I apologize for that. Eric, you've put together an incredible world-class set of physical AI assets and software board and management. The 11 billion pipeline is kind of scary to execute on. And I know you're very focused on it. Ryan, you did touch on this, but on slide 9, you talked about the operational platform. Can you give us, and I know you're saying you're integrating these companies quicker than basically most kind of roll-ups work. Can you elaborate on how you built that operational platform? I know you said Palantir is partnering there. What cloud are you using? How much is AI involved? How quickly can you kind of integrate these companies together? Any more color there would be very helpful.
Yeah, sure. So just first, Tim, we're very deliberate in building out a scalable operating platform.
I was muted, sorry guys.
We bristle a bit at the term roll-up because what we're doing is combining exceptional technologies, adding value across domains. And then as we're doing that, we're investing in the operating platform, which is first and foremost a people process, right? So we've added incredible leadership. You've seen over the past 12 months with Oshri Agassi coming on in his critical role, partner with Mayor and many, many leaders inside of Ondas. More recently, Ryan Hartman and Matt McHugh have joined, and they both have experience leading large organizations.
And of course, we've also added David Barnier to help us globalize the business. So leadership is really, really essential. On the technology side, I will ask Ryan to expand upon what we're doing with Palantir, and he can be more specific on some of the technical aspects of it as well. So Ryan?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So there's a couple of things we're doing. So a lot of the integration is built on Foundry and Warp Speed.
Ryan's with Worldview, guys.
So we have worked with Palantir to design AI agents that have read-write capability into ERPs and into MRPs and material planning systems, into inventory systems and financial systems. And ultimately what that enables us to do is have a unified picture of the businesses and create efficiencies through supply chain and manufacturing processes. And then even doing things like building AI agents to merge policies. So, we can merge a policy in, a couple minutes versus days and weeks for teams to write new policies or adopt policies. All of this is built on GovCloud and Microsoft Azure. So, we're staying compliant with, our security requirements and legislation related to having our facility clearance licenses and CMMC level 2s, et cetera. So yeah, it's largely based on AI and the ability to use AI to
Market loves that.
create a common operating picture. And over time, we'll start to gracefully degrade or sunset some of the legacy systems in the background. But we won't have to have merged them because we've created a common operating picture built on Palantir Foundry.
I mean, Brian, how mature is this, and how much better can it get? Like, when did it really, become operational?
So, some of the first tools became operational, about a week after Worldview was acquired by Ondas. So we started there. We built the infrastructure. The first thing we built was an inventory management tool, then a supply chain tool, and then started to build out some of the other tools. So all of the tools that I've mentioned are operational today. We're actively using them to integrate design and Worldview to start with, and then we'll be adding additional tools. But everything I've mentioned is already operational and has been for months.
So, Eric, lastly, do you have a sense of how much you've improved revenue growth or margins for portfolio companies?
We've got underlying growth rates that are extremely high, multi-year adoption curves that are really just launching now. So I don't necessarily see us improving them as much as unlocking them. Right, we're putting the infrastructure that can
grabbing the tender internationally,
the
Germany,
than it is
rest of Europe,
a multi-year
APEC
cycle on everything we have in our portfolio. So that's the context I would share.
Very helpful, thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
And the next question comes from Clark Jeffries with Piper Sandler. Please go ahead.
Hello, thank you for taking the question. One thing that stands out is these comments around momentum accelerating in the second half of 26 as deliveries are ramping on counter drone, ISR, and precision strike. I wanted to ask what the expectations are on precision strike versus ISR in the second half, and maybe specifically a little bit of color on what's organic in the sequential ramp in Q4. You called out some lethal unmanned systems deliveries in second half and Indo-Earth starting in Q4, but wondering if you could put a little bit more color on maybe the shape of the curve for that lethal unmanned systems segment, and if that's a big portion of the ramp to Q4.
Great question.
And then one follow-up.
Sure. So the LUS program was first captured by Mistral late last year, was in the fourth quarter, I believe. And since that time, they've been preparing and energizing the supply chain and moving forward on production and the things they need to do to turn orders into deliveries. And we feel like we've made quite a bit of progress on that. I'll point to just in the last week or so, a couple weeks I think it was, we saw an additional order on that IDIQ. So clearly the systems are in demand, and we're working through now, as I said, scaling production so we can begin commercial deliveries in Q3 and Q4. And I think we're going to see that program continue, deliveries on that into 2027 as well. I don't want to put a number on it, and I also don't want to shape the quarters around it because, as we're doing this, putting a stick in the ground as to when will the deliveries come and what quarter they're in is hard to say at the moment. At the same time, the demand here in our growth is broad. So we feel good about what we're talking about in the second half. But the loss program will be a material part of it, of course.
Yeah, certainly. It seems like the market is accelerating in some of these core programs, and we're sort of gauging the ramp that's coming over the next 12 months. Just on
I'll add to that. So clearly on the counter drone and precision strike, the demand is significant, and I think this is going to be over really for the foreseeable future. We came into, or as you've seen with Epic Fury and the conflict in the Middle East and certainly in Ukraine, strike and counter drone, they go hand in hand, and we just have not built enough inventories here. In fact, on a sustainable basis, we're going to have much larger inventories of these technologies. So we're
selling out,
not just in the second half here, but into 2027 beyond. These are important categories for Ondas.
Yeah, certainly. And that was my follow-up question, just on the 105 million of orders quarter to date. There was even a mention of 90 million of proposals on the long endurance ISR segment. It's just appreciable to me that you have 300 million tied to precision strike, 258 million tied to ISR, over 70% of backlog to these two categories. Is the order pipeline pretty similar to that? Is it consistent, or are there any other segments that are disproportionately adding to the kind of the quarter to date volume of orders? Thank you.
Yeah, Clark, it really is broad. So it's I think for our platform technologies, the underlying growth is just very strong, and it's not any single platform that's going to drive our success.
Thank you very much.
And the next question comes from Michael Lattimore with Northland Capital Markets. Please go ahead.
Great, thanks. So on the just on the supply chain,
I think this is a new analyst.
Health of the supply chain. Are there any constraints you're seeing in
so.
categories? And then second, with Cyberhawk buying into the kind of critical infrastructure space, commercial relative defense, is that something that you might expand on going forward? Doing more acquisitions in the kind of the commercial space.
So supply chain and then industrial. Let's start with industrial. Yeah, we do see Cyberhawk as a platform company that we can build around, and we're seeing, and they came with quite a bit of a pipeline in terms of strategic options or opportunities, and of course Ondas has been active in these markets as well. So I do see the industrial segment for us as being important to build. And I see the opportunity is here. On the supply chain, we're doing all the hard work to energize supply chains, particularly on the new programs that we're going to see adoption. So I highlight what we're seeing with long endurance ISR, as well as counterstrike with design. We talked a bit about Mistral and their supply chain work and the production ramp they're preparing for. So we've got challenges. There's no question. They're not unique to Ondas, but we do think we've got. We put the strategies and capacity to fulfill what we're trying to do over the course of the year into 2027. And Mike, I think we're going to have a regular conversation around this on each quarter because the industry is growing a lot. Ondas is growing a lot, and we have to, as an industry, build ecosystems around this and build scale. And we think, that comes back to the thesis and the philosophy around how Ondas is building a scaled platform. We think we need more of this. We also think we need that on the vendor side as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, congrats on the strong results here.
Thanks, Mike.
And the next question comes from Amit Dayal with H.C. Wainwright. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking my questions. The main question I guess I have right now, Eric, is just around, what's driving the M&A strategy from this point forward? Are you still looking to fill maybe, gaps in the portfolio, or is it more revenue oriented? Just any color on, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Sure. So firstly, I don't see gaps in our portfolio, but I do see quite a bit of opportunity to deepen each segment we're in, and the opportunity set for strategic acquisitions remains strong. Disciplined. It's really important to drive our strategic program along with our financial model. These deals have to be accretive, and they have to strengthen the operating platform in parallel, and advance our objectives around profitability and growth and market position. So I think we disciplined and financial accretion, strategic accretion is really going to be the emphasis.
Understood. Thank you. And then just a follow-up with respect to the backlog, as that number grows, how should we think about backlog being filled, within 1 or 2 quarters, or maybe, slightly longer, I guess, maybe 12-month time frame? Just any color on that. Thank you.
Sure. So the pipeline is large and growing, as we articulated. It's also maturing. I mentioned earlier what we're seeing is opportunities to move our order size up and the cadence as well, in terms of the velocity of order capture. Now we have this global platform, right? We've got footprints in many markets, and they're maturing. So I do believe that we have the wherewithal to continue to grow backlog as we're scaling the P&L, the revenue. Thanks, Amit.
And the next question comes from Max Michaels with Lake Street Capital Markets. Please go ahead.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my question and congrats on the quarter. Just want to go back to sort of the organic revenue growth of 85%. Thanks for the data as well around Centrix, Aerobotics, as well as 4M. Those segments seem to be kind of rolling hot here. Just curious to know, I know we're talking big growth rates at 85%, but is there any other segments of the business now that may not be performing to what you guys originally had expected, and sort of what the game plan around that is to kind of get those segments of the business up and moving?
I can't highlight a segment that we're disappointed in. What I would say is that from a
probably the networks portion
standpoint, where we're going to spend our time, we make decisions. So if we're seeing we're seeing having particular success with one platform, a specific customer, we'll spend more time and attention to drive that, and sometimes that can be at the expense of attention on another platform. So, but I wouldn't say that that's a weakness in the platform we're not focused on. It's just what we're trying to do is get the highest returns for our time and capital we're deploying on the OpEx side.
And last follow-up for me, can you give a little bit more detail on sort of the digital BAD program you guys announced the other day with Israel?
Yeah, sure. That's great program. We're really excited to support it. And Mayor, I'll ask you to expand on it.
So as we wrote in the announcement, we're going to manufacture a mass production of FPV drones. The next generation is going to be in the battlefield. As Eric said, we are very happy about that, and we're going to have a big manufacturer site to have the ability to build a mass production in the short term. And we are very excited about that, and we will take it to the next phase, also more and more territories, not only in Israel.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
And the next question comes from Matthew Galinko with Maxim Group. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking my
342, JT.
question, and congrats on the results. With respect to the, I guess, pull forward on EBITDA positive on the corporate level, I'm just curious, looking a year out, whether you can say, as you think about capital deployment at that point, when you hit that milestone, do you expect to be more selective in how you might deploy towards acquisitions, or how you'll make allocation decisions to maintain that positive EBITDA going forward, or is it going to be just situational on kind of where the market and opportunities are?
Well, it's a great question, Matt, and I believe we're very selective today, and we're going to continue to be. I'll come back to the discipline around the financial model and accretion. Of course, that does also mean that we're very focused on demonstrating EBITDA leverage. In the near term, I'd say over the next 6 to 12 months, we want to demonstrate that EBITDA and operating leverage. At the same time, we'll be investing to ensure we're capturing as much market position as we can, because as we've outlined in the past, we think this market is going to grow significantly. We're going to penetrate these unmanned and autonomous sectors. And it's going to also, the value is going to accrue to platform companies, and there's going to be fewer and fewer of them. As such, what we're trying to really do is capture market capitalization for our investors. So, but when thinking about those investments, that's on OpEx, ensuring we have the right operating infrastructure to win and support and drive bigger and faster growth. That's not OpEx, or that's not OpEx related to the M&A program. The M&A program comes in with companies that we've modeled. We see significant revenue opportunity, gross profit, and we expect them all to be very highly accretive as we're spreading that gross profit and operating income across Ondas Incorporated and the growth platform we have at the holding company.
Got it. Thank you. And just as a follow-up, Iron Wave, I think you mentioned you had a successful deployment there. I'm just wondering if it moves the needle for other potential customers.
Absolutely. We were seeing tremendous feedback. And in fact, as we're thinking, you look at our pipeline and how we're expecting the cadence of orders in the coming months and quarters, we do think Iron Wave will be very material. We think we can expand firstly with our current customer, and the success there should open other markets for us. And there is interest globally in Iron Wave all day long.
System of systems.
This concludes our question and answer session. I would like to turn the conference back over to Eric Brock.
That'll start
for any
our
closing
session
remarks.
too afterward. We'll take a look at the slide deck,
Okay,
guys.
thank you, operator. So as we wrap the call, I want to thank you again for spending time with us this morning. As we outlined, we're very pleased with where the business is, and we do expect a strong second half of 2026. We're focused on execution and on sustaining this momentum into 2027. We look forward to providing more updates in the coming weeks and months. So we'll go back now, do the important work of building a company, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you.
All right, guys.
The conference has now concluded. Thank you for attending today's presentation.
We're not done
You
yet.
may now disconnect.
All right. So good call overall. Let's get the questions in the chat. There's a couple things I want to touch on the slide deck. Obviously, market price this morning, not exactly what we want to see or what we were expecting. We're down about 6% to start the day after that huge pre-market rally. I think it's overdone. I mean, we raised guidance. We have a large pipeline of contracts we're pursuing. I think, just missed on EPS, which, I mean, it's a small cap. It's kind of expected. Not expected, but, it's not like a huge driver of where price should be. It should be on guidance. But this is what I want to talk about. I'm going to get up now. Hey, Benny, we just finished up the call. I'm bringing up the slide deck because there's some things I want to talk about on it that are key. Mainly this.
Right on.
So,
sorry about the technical difficulties, folks.
Hey, all good. Your wheel's up right now. Benny's out there getting content for us. So
I missed
He's
the wife, man.
traveling.
I got to get home.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying Boston for Copen, New York, and we'll be down in Florida soon, I'm sure. Hopefully, we can demo some Iron Wave stuff with Ondas.
Right on.
But just get into this. So we have the 2-year strategic pipeline, right? Program pipeline, what they're pursuing. So you'd think defense primes in the world. Who does the most spending by far, more than the next 10 countries, right? Or maybe it's more than that. It's the United States. But on the sheet, they're not
Right.
the biggest, right? It's actually Europe with 4.1 billion. And then APAC now is coming out of nowhere at 3.8 billion. That was not there before. So it must be because of this new drone bet and a couple other things. So keep that $4.1 billion number though for Europe in mind. So massive amount of tenure, right? Or tender. That's almost their entire market cap. And hell, let's go to this one right here, right? Their backlog and expansion. Look at the backlog by region in millions, right? US makes up most of this at 407, which makes sense because of the Mistral. Look at Europe though. 155 million. The total tenure they're pursuing over the next 2 years in Europe is 4 billion. It's over 4 billion. Right now, the backlog gets 155 million. 40 times what we're seeing in that current backlog.
I guess a lot of that's going to be in Germany with the joint venture they have
with
Onberg with Heidelberg. Yeah, the joint venture, and Ondas owns 51% of that. But back earlier in the call, they mentioned they were in 60 countries now. Dude, that's almost a third. That's almost a third of the planet.
I mean, it's ridiculous, and that's why I just think it's funny that because I was watching the share price, I'm like, what is going on pre-market? Like, yeah, the EPS miss, and that's why I'm a long-term investor. But obviously, I was like, looking forward to a good earnings call today, which we got, good guidance, which we got, and then stock price, of course, we dumped. Though I think we're up 30% still, even after this morning dump this month. So, it's not bad, but I'm curious. So, Jeff, you said in the chat Japan. I'm assuming they're under the other. What are you referencing? Can you expand on that? What you're talking about Japan? Because I didn't hear Japan mentioned on the call.
Yeah, Japan was mentioned on the call. In fact, talked about the Japan Homeland Defense is contracted with them, right? And it was hard to catch. It was just a little quick mention as he talked about the Thai Army also as a customer. Australia, and he just kind of worked his way north, up toward Japan, Thailand. But remember back in the shareholder meeting back in May, that was one of my 3 questions for Eric was when we getting into the Indo-Pacific, and then they did the design acquisition, right? Put us right all over Australia, and the only way to the Indo-Pacific is from Australia and up the island chain. So, yeah. They're delivering, JT. That's all I can say.
Oh yeah,
how far we've come in 1 year, huh?
1,700 employees now is crazy. I mean, this is a large organization. That's
yeah, man.
Wow. Yeah, 60 countries, 25 locations. I know that we might be guest analysts on a little session later too for with Eric. So I'm going to be asking him some questions. Yeah, I might ask him. I'm kind of thinking of some things I do want to ask, but when is an actual wave product joining the Iron Wave, right? When are we getting those aquatic drones that we're seeing so much? I mean, some saved some operators, helicopter pilots in Iran, in the Strait. They've been used for a couple other things. I mean, that's definitely a piece of the stack that I want to see added, and I bet is on their M&A pipeline. One thing I did notice is last earnings quarter, we had a lot of talk about the M&A pipeline, right? Kind of what's lined up, how many companies they're pursuing. I don't think there was a slide directly talking about that, unless I missed it, about new acquisitions, which makes me think maybe we're kind of at a point where we kind of like what we have. We want to expand off it, grow off it, and build. I mean, obviously, there's not like there's revenue slippage right now. We keep raising guidance. We started at 110 to start. Now we're over 550 million, and it's organic too. That's what I was really surprised about. Was people, that was the whole thing. Is you're just buying companies, so you're buying revenue. And in the short term, I mean, yes, that does make sense because you're picking up all these companies that are already already established, right? They're already creating revenue, so like you're buying revenue. But a lot of their growth was organic, which I was floored. I think he said like 70 or 80%. And I want to pull up that slide that had the growth numbers with like Centrix. I knew it was going to be big, right? Because of like the World
Right.
Cup and now the NFL stadiums, but I wasn't expecting that much like that because they were already growing really, really hard before that. So I was kind of floored by that. I was really excited. Here it is. Man, organic growth highlights, which is huge, right? Because the market right now is kind of holding its breath to make sure that Ondas has just acquired like 8 companies. That's insane, right? Like they got to make sure that they all operate in tandem, they work together, and they can still grow and become even more effective together. And we're seeing that, right? I mean, Centrix 300%, Robotics 112%, 4M Defense 258%. It's a good thing when the one you're least excited about had 112% organic revenue growth, right? I mean, that's crazy, right? Am I crazy saying that's crazy? I think that's pretty crazy.
Man, those are all the right percentages, I mean,
yeah,
triple digit percentages he's talking about in some of those categories. I mean, what, like I said, Ondas is the envy of the industry.
Yeah, and the thing is, in terms of like similar companies, I don't really think that there is one in like the drone sector in terms of that's capturing all these different markets. Because someone asked that, and I think Benny dropped off. An analyst asked that on the call. He's like, what are some similar companies doing with their growth, with their revenue? Like the closest thing is probably like what Red Cat. Oh, you got some background noise coming, Benny.
Hey, mute me then. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're all good. It was good before. I don't know if it's maybe not coming through your headset or something. We were just talking about kind of Ondas and any kind of companies that were similar to them, but no one in the space is really similar at all. The closest thing I would consider is like Red Cat, but they have like 3 products, right? They don't have any products compared to Ondas.
Even close. They're not even
I guess
close.
Maybe AVAV. I mean, yeah, there's nothing really you could say that's similar. So
AVAV is a one-trick pony, man. Just like Red Cat. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is no direct comparison. I'm just trying to think of one that's closest.
Exactly.
That's the hard part is there's not one.
I mean, hey, no hard feelings, AVAV, but you're up against a genius here with real smart guy and a fantastic team. That's his real talents putting together this team. But you mentioned I think they are slowing down on the acquisitions because they're doing so well with what they have. But I look for 2 areas. I look for a space play at some point, right? They're from the ground to the stratosphere already, so all they got to do is another 100 miles in the air and they're in space, right? So a satellite play, in my opinion, is coming at some point. And then
or a partnership too, because I think if they acquired a satellite play, that would put on a ton of cash burn onto their book. I mean, mainly the space plays right now are burning a lot of cash, not a lot of revenue. So I could see it, but I almost think they do like a partnership with some sort of company to combo with the ISR, or else that's gonna be very expensive. But I mean, they definitely need that element. So I bet that's happening. I'm curious how Eric's going to go about doing that. But that's a great question actually for the meeting too, Benny, with Eric.
Yeah. And then the other end of the spectrum, literally, is the naval drones. Surface and subsurface vehicles. So those are the 2 areas I see the next plays being. I don't think Eric's in a rush to do that. Right. I think he's going to be very selective and make sure that he can get the return on capital on those acquisitions that he's gotten on the last ones.
Yeah. I'm looking right now for it's probably under their financials page, just their cash position, right? It was like 1.4 billion if I remember correctly. Man, where was that? Here it is. Cash equivalents, and short-term investments, 1.4 billion. Because I noticed what Eric was saying on the call is now that they're kind of ramping up these orders, right? They got orders coming in, contracts they got to fulfill. They have some software stuff, which high margin, turn that around quick. Don't need like a ton of space for like an industrial backlog, right? But I think they might need to beef up infrastructure to make all of these orders whole, make sure they can actually deliver on all of this new need and demand, right? Especially globally. So I'd be curious if they use some of that cash and the cash equivalents for that, because in the past, they've gone straight to kind of dilution. They've just been diluting shareholders to grab cash to then fulfill these things while keeping this very strong cash position.
Mhm.
And it's not a small amount, right? 1.4 billion. That's almost 33% of their backlog. I mean, or their market cap. It's large. And I
Well,
think they've been using it as a safety net, right, to make sure they always
Yeah.
have that in case. But
Right.
I'm wondering what the plan is for that, when they're gonna start using that cash position that they have. I mean, obviously Eric's ex Wall Street hedge fund manager. He knows what he's
Mhm.
doing with cash equivalents.
Mhm.
He obviously has a
Mhm.
plan for it, premeditation in mind. Obviously, I've been holding through this, so the dilution I've just accepted. But I'm curious what the plan is with that. Are they going to use that to scale? What are they going to do with that cash? Are they going to invest in other elements of business? Are they going to buy infrastructure, like companies similar to maybe UMAC for NDAA stuff? Do they want to make their own components? And
I
now
got
with
an
this new
idea.
Israel contract. Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Hey, yeah, man. So not only the future acquisitions we just discussed, right, but cash on the balance sheet is what you might call a moat, right? And Ondas has got to be turning some heads, and turning some heads with some big boys that are a lot bigger than $5 billion. Could be dangerous if you're a little small company. But if you got $1.5 billion on the balance sheet and somebody
Yeah.
comes after your shares, hey, you can protect yourself. And if that doesn't happen, then what I'm looking for maybe a year from now is that announcement that says Ondas is buying back shares with some
Oh
of that
man, I
cash.
can't wait for that.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
That's the ace in Eric's pocket. If you ask me, right? Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say right now, my strategy with Ondas that I've been liking is, I have my share position, and then when we see these big moves up, I just like to cover them because the implied volatility things when these big moves happens is so high. Premiums are so inflated that you can just get these kind of crazy premiums outside of the money. And then I'm like, okay, eventually maybe we get some dilution, we come back down, that's fine. I just keep raking in the covered call premium when it goes ballistic.
Right
But hey,
on.
if my shares get called away at 30, I bought on this at 67 cents, and now it's $30.
Yeah.
I don't care, but I can just let it run. Let's do its thing. Let it come back down. And the next time I'll just, collect more premium. I think just long term, that's kind of been my plan with it. That's how I've kind of gotten over like dilution concern, being worried about that, staying up at night. I'd rather just be a long-term shareholder. When it goes up a lot, I'll cover them, and then hey, I don't care what happens in the short term. If it gets called away, I'm a happy man. If it doesn't, I'm a happy man. I kept the shares. So
That's your wave strategy, man. You win either way. You win either way. I was too busy with the Boston New York trip. Huh? Nope, that's good. Thank you. Yep. Sorry about that. I'm getting out the shuttle right now at LaGuardia, but but yeah. So I was too busy this week. I've been playing the options the whole month of July and August up to this week. Been selling cash secure puts, and it's been working out real well for me.
Yeah.
But just was too preoccupied with the Copen technology demo and Michael Murray interview, which folks, that's coming out soon, probably another day or two. We might even have some. Actually, what's today? Thursday. Yeah, let's call that. We're going to release that next week. But we'll have a few clips to play for everybody on Sunday Night Live this week from the Michael Murray interview.
Heck yeah, man! I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
overall,
Yeah, that's
that was a
good
great
stuff.
call, right? I mean, there's nothing. I feel like everything on the call is working, minus the share price today,
Yeah.
which is like you got to
Yeah.
zoom out.
Yeah.
But I don't really have any complaints. I'm very, very curious about what they're pursuing now, though. With let me go back to that one slide with the 11 billion over the next 2 years. This one right here, because this jumped up. I think before in the last call it was like 4 billion, right? Maybe it was
Right.
5. Maybe it was 5 billion. I don't remember the number. All I remember was the United States was high, but then Europe was actually higher, and then the Middle East and East Asia was like tiny, right? And by comparison,
Right.
it was like 100 million, 200, 300 million, something like that. now you have this jump, this APAC and other going to 3.8 out of nowhere. This is the largest jump, and then Europe jumped, heavily too. So it's just interesting. It's getting. I'm thinking right now as I'm on this call, my brain's in another spot, thinking, where is this tender going? Who are we pursuing? What are these plans? And I'm assuming this has to be, in part with this new drone bat system they're doing for Israel. Because who knows? I mean, if they're stealing the prime tactical drone contract from Rafael and other Israeli defense primes, what else are they going to steal?
Yeah.
I think that's why this bounced up. I got to say that was shocking. I'm surprised I didn't get mentioned more on the call, right? Because that was huge news. That was huge news. So we're gonna I might touch more on that too when we talk to Eric later. But man, let's see what was up in the chat said. Stock market seems to be ignoring that the adjusted EBITDA loss will be less in future quarters according to management. I think they're ignoring a lot of the guidance. I'm surprised the stock's even under $10 to begin with, right? In terms of
haters are gonna hate and market makers are gonna make, and then let them play their games. They can't keep this beach ball underwater forever.
Yeah. I wonder if we're seeing any shorts covering here too.
Maybe so. They're trying to shake out retail, man, because they're mad that they're not selling us shares at $15 or $10 that we got them at $1, and
it did go crazy.
Deal with it, fellas.
Yeah, it's a long-term play, but otherwise, earnings call I thought was good. We'll probably put out something further on the 0 Hour Group page, just going over, the transcript, everything else with some slides that we thought were key, kind of that we're talking about right now. We'll make a short about this. The funny thing is, I don't even know on these whoever does the press releases why they even have a pause button, because you can't pause it. It's just live.
Right.
So I don't know.
Right.
We tried to pause it quick. Because we had some things to mention about Basad and stuff before David Barnea, but we're gonna go back, rewatch this, re-listen to it, and give a reaction of what we think. Because we got the financials part, but we missed a couple of little pieces with this, so we'll make sure we get that for you guys. Don't worry about that. Wow. Look at all these companies in here too. Now this looks like a book of maybe people they're working with in the industry, but no, these are all subsidiaries now, which is crazy. Wow.
I think he's got 9 CEOs underneath him now, in the Ondas empire. So
I like that.
If we can ever get Zero out of bed, we'll get him to work on that pause feature and make that happen, folks. Okay, I just see 399, 400. Is that a record, JT?
Yeah, this is our
I just screenshot it. Right on. We really appreciate everybody coming in too.
Absolutely, man. We've been loving growing this community. We're trying to bring all this information for you, for you guys for free. We're in this with you, right? We don't work for any of these companies. We're here with you guys. Obviously we're invested in these companies. We see it go down. It hurts us too. It's not like, we're on the other side of the table trying to convince you to do anything. We're just trying to give our thoughts. We have a unique opportunity of being able to be behind closed doors with these companies, go to these events, bring you guys what we can. And we're in this with you, we are very bullish on this. And also, we actually Substack. We had almost 60, so we have 455 people or something.
400.
So.
Wow. And then you got YouTube maybe. So, man, and this thing's going to live forever on the World Wide Web, folks. You can access it at the speed of light from anywhere in the world. Just the 0hourgroup.com or search for us on your favorite platform. We're bringing this content where you want to consume it, where it's most convenient for you. So,
if there's any
just
platform
really gratified.
Let us know, because we have the capability to stream to many more platforms. So if you have one that you prefer, let us know. We'll create an account over there. We want to expand to a couple other ones like Twitch and stuff that we're working on. So if you have a specific platform you like, maybe there's some that are used overseas, that other people like more. Because I know we have some international shareholders of Ondas too, from China and stuff. We'd love to, expand to you guys. I'm going to get a write-up, going, get that out to you guys. Benny will react later to David's portion. you're about to catch a flight back to South Carolina. Anything else you want to cover on this call? We hit our goal of 400.
Yeah,
It's a great day.
no,
It's a great day.
no, I'm safe right now. It's 12:30 flight. It's 10:15. I got plenty of time.
Nice.
I guess got to say I love you, New York. Shout out if you guys are watching. Let's see, Chris, Adam, the Egyptian guy right there at the corner at the NASDAQ behind the squawk box selling coffee to Brian Sullivan and the gang. Can't remember your name, but appreciate you tuning in too, man. People in New York are great, and I can't wait till I come back again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying. I got the Trading View chart pulled up too now. Just kind of looking at what I'm seeing this morning. Let me I got too many things I'm sharing. I got putting things on the screen, taking them off, putting them on.
We got a lot to share, man. You know, not only with Ondas, but all the other companies we cover.
Absolutely. And I mean, this morning, so we've been in this very nice uptrend, right? Just kind of going into the technicals since, let's see, late July 17th. We've been, getting higher highs, higher lows. Today, we had a bit of a break of the structure. But I got to say, I mean, just today, this $9 level is looking extremely strong. I mean, you're looking at this candle here. It tried to push down into the 8s, and it was just getting bought up. So now we're seeing some support at 9. Which is what we want to see, because 9 on a larger time frame, right, has been a key level of support right here. I mean, this back in what was this, February, we hit 9, we bounce, we go up, hit 9, bounce, go up, and then recently back in like June, we hit 9. I thought we'd go back up. We actually broke through to the downside, and then we fell all the way down to the low 6s, right? So this $9 is key support. If we can keep that level of support here today, that's going to be huge, right, for long-term action. So we definitely want to see this catch a bid here. It looks like we are catching a bit of a bid. I think this is overreaction. I thought we'd be green. I mean, pre-market we were, right? We were hitting a new recent high, but I think there's been a bit of a overreaction.
Market makers making, market makers being market makers.
Yeah, they're looking for anything of like, oh, that's bad, but it's like the call wasn't bad. I mean, everything that I heard was good. There was a few questions I kind of liked from the analysts. Though, like, what do you think's lagging? I think those are good questions to ask, right? Because not everything's perfect. It shouldn't be perfect. This is a small cap growth company, right? So and also thank you, Jeff. So it's like I want to hear, what's not perfect, what they're working on, and I know they are, right? So Eric said pretty much everything is going good. I want to hear an update on Ondas Networks, so maybe I'll ask about that as well, because that one's one that you don't really hear much about. I know Aaron said that Ondas Networks is gravy in chat, and yeah, there is definitely some very strong revenue aspects there. I gotta say, with New Yorkers, what's with honking in New York, man? In Minnesota, it's nice and quiet.
Man, I think it's a pastime. I think it's a pastime. That's all right, though. But yeah, man, yeah, it's the best place to be in the world, in my opinion. Except back home with the wife, right? And that's where I'm heading, baby. If you're watching, I'll be there soon. Hey, you mentioned earlier us being part of a guest panel again, right? With Crispy over on X. That's at Rad Tech, folks. At capital R, capital A, capital D, lowercase TECH. And if you want to really dive into the technicals on these plays, he's been a long time honest investor. Nobody knows the technology like Chris does. Go follow him on X. And do we have a set time? X Space with Chris and gang?
I don't believe so yet. We're just working on it. I mean, Eric's really busy post earnings,
obviously.
Yeah. But,
might happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
I bet it happens tomorrow.
Everyone will know. I mean, I'll put out a notification when it's time. For sure. Give everyone a heads up, because that's going to be fun. 0 Hour Group always likes hopping on those calls. We're on one with Alan Evans of Unusual Machines. Anytime he's hosting something, we definitely come in there as the closer to bring you guys what we can.
We appreciate your confidence, Chris. Thank you very much, sir. Hey, it's nice batting cleanup.
Yeah, Chris is as sharp as they come. Same with Jeff too. This is Chris's ex over here. So this is Crispy. Radhard Tech. He's got the Radhard Tech space. He throws up a lot of community stuff. We always love attending. He does a great job. Obviously, big following too. But super smart guy in the industry. So make sure to check him out. And man, appreciate all y'all coming down the stream here. Big man, X has been crazy in terms of viewership. Wow, that's a lot of people there. We got some on Substack, some on YouTube. So appreciate everyone watching everywhere, man.
Right on.
Yeah, make sure to check out if you like our articles. Make sure you follow 0 Hour Group on Substack, which is free, and also X. That's where we put articles out. We have Copen articles coming out. We got Ondas ones to follow. Try to get one out to you guys every week. We had one on PDW, Performance Drone Works, last week. Performance Drone Works now knows who we are and follows us, so we'll hopefully be able to tour their facility at some point. Talking to their CEO a little bit, so very, very exciting.
Yeah, and we're going back to Massachusetts, so Westboro, Mass, to get an in-depth tour of the manufacturing facility at Copen's headquarters. And another sit down with some other members of the C-suite team there. And listen, I'm about to drop on the battery here. This StreamYard is energy intensive, it looks like. So I'm gonna have to check out JT. But one last thing. It came across the wire right as this call was starting, so I hadn't had a chance to look into it, but we'll put something up here shortly. We got that interview with Ziv Marome of Power Us, right? One of the co-founders. And they've been coming out with some news, man. I mean, bam, bam, 60 million here, 90 million there. I didn't see how much this one was worth, but I'm going to look into it, and y'all look for something coming out on Power Us here shortly, because I mean they're just, it's like, I guess they call news because it's new, but they're doing it every single day, it seems,
Yeah, we should have an article posted there soon for them as well on the website as well, 0hourgroup.com.
Right on. Yeah, man. Well, that's your category. So I'm gonna sign off, man, just so this don't drop and I go black all of a sudden. But I love everybody. Good. I appreciate all the followers. Go tell your moms and dads and sons and daughters and brothers and sisters that this is the best alpha anywhere, the 0hourgroup.com.
Yeah, for any kind of emerging AI, drone, AI infrastructure, energy, you guys, we're here. We're trying to get you guys stocks. We're just retail investors, right? We're trying to figure out stuff and then let help you figure it out too. That's why we're doing this. So
we eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, have a safe flight then, Benny. I'm gonna wrap it up with just this one slide here, and man, it was a great call. So all things considered, great call. Wow, we almost went live for 2 hours now. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you up on
and we still got over 400 on, man. That's appreciate everybody's stick-to-itiveness there, and I hope we're offering some value. Come back for more and send us some questions. Send us what you want to hear about. Send us what you want to know. We'll get the answers. All right.
Yeah,
take care, everyone.
Add us on X or DM us on X if you have specific questions that you think would be good for Eric, and maybe I'll ask them, if they align with what I want to ask too. So definitely send me a DM, either 0 Hour Group or Hidden Gems Research. I'll see it and I'll get working on it, guys. So make sure you send that. All right, cool. Otherwise,
great work, JT. Yep,
hey, I'm
out of here.
All right,
all right.
See you soon then. Have a safe flight.
Take care, everybody.
See you, Benny. Let's see. I wanted to look at this slide quick, guys, before we go. Man, just the revenue growth, right? I think it was like 67% or something year over year. But just seeing this, I mean, 83 million, right? 83.8 million in Q2 2026 revenue. To start the year, their first quarter earnings report, their guidance was 110 million for the whole year. We almost just did that in a single quarter, right? I mean, this also, their cash position has gotten larger. I feel like that used to be like 1 billion. Maybe it was 1.5 at one point, but the fact that's the 1.4 is great. I hope that we start utilizing this, instead of some dilution events, would be great for shareholders. This number as well that we talked about, just to kind of wrap it up, also crazy. This is just, they're pursuing about 11 billion in potential contracts over the next 2 years. They have a market cap of like 5.5 billion. So any contracts there, man, if they even got like half that, quarter of that, absolutely massive in terms of market cap to revenue. I mean, you look at like Anduril, right? They had what, 4 billion in revenue last year, something like that, and their market cap's 60. Ondas, if they have 2 billion in revenue, their market cap's 4.5 billion, 5 billion. I mean, the valuation's crazy. Like, I'd say the company right now, especially if they're executing on 550 million a year, off of 5 billion market cap. They're still pretty cheap, I'd say. So very interesting as well. Obviously, a large backlog still from these acquisitions. Then Mistral, which had the nearly $1 billion loitering munitions contract. Their 11x growth from Q4 2025. I mean, man, it's impressive. I want to see them, make sure that they expand. Right here, they have corporate infrastructure. I want like industrial infrastructure built to make sure that they have, a good supply chain for their parts. Make sure that they can actually make good on orders they have, because the orders are becoming large, we should say, and consistent too. I know, let's see, where was that page about the orders where it was showing their timeline? This one. Yeah. So in terms of key contract awards, I mean, oh my goodness. Like we're just going 50 million, 68, 40, 51, pretty much every month. Some of these are twice a month. And then this doesn't even include the new one with those drone bats that they're doing for Israel that they beat out other primes on. So, man, exciting stuff. I'm going to give you guys a minute while I just finish looking over the slide deck to ask any questions. Do you have any questions on the call? Anything you heard I didn't? Let me know quick. Let's probably go for another minute. And also, if you have specific questions, like analyst questions that you want to ask Eric, but you don't have the opportunity to, send them to me. Maybe I'll be able to ask them on my call. We are retail investors for retail investors, so I want to make sure you guys have a voice. So definitely shoot me a message if you have something important that you think needs to be asked, and I'll do my best to get it asked for you. Let's see. Anything else that we want to touch base on this? I definitely want to hear more about bat drones. Hear about maybe the aquatic piece to see if that's getting added to the Iron Wave, and then I want to update on Onberg too, just because of how large this is. This 4.1 billion they're pursuing in Europe. I want to see how that translates to this chart, because right now Europe's a small amount. Same with APAC, right? / other. That's 8 million. And the total addressable was what, nearly 3.8. Yeah. So this chart changes up. I think in the next couple of years, you're not going to see US and Canada leading, right? I think they're going to be a smaller piece of the chunk, and maybe it's divided more into thirds. But with what Centrix is doing right now with the counter UAS, don't be surprised if Centrix is maybe like a partner of the NFL or something, right? And we're seeing Centrix stuff up in every stadium. I bet the other Florida stadiums will follow. There's the Jaguars, you got the Buccaneers, and then you got one more Florida team, I think. So I bet those NFL stadiums might have something soon. Maybe other sports teams. Shoot, I mean, maybe you'll see them on golf courses soon, right? Golf courses are pretty bougie. They could invest in some counter UAS stuff. But yeah, overall, great earnings call. I think we'll see a nice rebound on the stock. I like the support I'm seeing. Oh, we're actually already moving. Let me put that up on screen quick. What's going on here? Right before we get off, make sure if you have any questions, put them in chat now. Got a minute or two more, but just looked over on TradingView, and we are definitely eating up this dip a bit, folks. Oh my goodness. I thought we were at 881 during the call. I mean, we're seeing a very nice green candle here. Obviously, the NASDAQ and the S&P are having a nice day as well. A couple other space stocks and just drone stocks with like UMAC, Amprius, Lantronix, LightPath having good days too. So yeah, we'll have to see where we end today. It's gonna be a fun one. Market's only been open less than an hour, so yeah, it's a solid day, guys. It's a solid day, solid earnings call. We'll get you the deal with Crispy later in terms of talking to Eric live, bring you guys some stuff there. Otherwise, I got to get back to work. I got a bunch I got to get done today. But yeah, thank you everyone who came on the call. Benny, thanks you too. And we'll see you guys for sure on Sunday Night Live, 7:30 p.m. Central or 8:30 EST, and maybe some surprise lives in between if there's some big news. And I got to check what Benny was talking about with Power Us as well. So yeah, great call, guys. Thanks for coming on. Record viewership. Nearly 500 people came to watch. So man, we appreciate y'all. We're in this with you, and we will see you in the next one. Have a great day, guys.